Good evening, guests and fellow Toastmasters. A warm welcome to meeting number 24 of the Gabbys International Toastmaster Club. I'm Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari, your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. As Sergeant at Arms, it's my duty to highlight some key points for that meeting. The meeting is blocked for 2 hours and also urging you to stay for the entire duration to get the maximum benefits of it. Your video should be on and audio should be off, and unmute yourself when you are called to speak and need to speak. Regarding the topics of sex, religion, and politics, even though Toastmaster International doesn't put any restrictions on speaking on these topics, at the Gabbys Toastmaster Club, we request all speakers, role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. Also urge you to be cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity, inclusion in letter and spirit, as ensuring there is no sexist, racist, or any such undertones that create hostility and discomfort for members or guests. Our club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let me now introduce Toastmaster of the Day for today's meeting. With a distinguished career spanning 19 years, a seasoned chartered accountant has held various leadership positions overseeing all aspects of finance. Currently, he is specializing in virtual SFO services, supporting startups, SMEs, MSMEs. He likes cycling, yoga, fitness, reading books, and traveling in his free time. None other than Toastmaster Sudharkar Thamankar. Everyone, please give him a round of applause and hand over the virtual stage to you. Over to you, Toastmaster Sudharkar Thamankar.
Thank you for such a warm welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests. That was Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari, our Sergeant at Arms for today's speech marathon. Can we have a big round of applause for her? A very good evening to all of you. It is my pleasure to be TMOD or the Gabbys speech marathon. I would like to welcome and acknowledge the presence of all guests to our meeting. For the benefit of guests, I would want to reiterate that the Toastmaster is a home to people who wish to face their fear of public speaking. Not only that, if you love to connect and network with others, if you want to hone your leadership skills, Toastmaster is the place for you. It's a safe place to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We are proud to carry forward this 100 years of old legacy, which is spanned over 100 plus countries. For the benefit of guests, I would like to explain the structure of today's meeting. In regular Toastmaster meeting, we have 3 sections. That is prepared speech, TT section, that is table topic section, and third one is evaluation section. Since all of you know, today is a speech marathon, therefore we have only 2 sections, that is prepared speeches and evaluation section. To help me in today's speech marathon, we have a timer, and let me introduce today's timer. She was a sales manager by profession and a certified soft skills trainer by interest. After almost a decade, she is now a full-time management student by the virtue of time. She joined Toastmasters to sharpen her soul of public speaking. Outside Toastmaster, she is a mindful, introverted soul whose life revolves around food, of course made by others, family and dance. that is Toastmasters Smruti S. Mohanty. Smruti, over to you. Please explain your role.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Sudharkar. Fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests, today I will be playing the role of a timer. Now, timer role is critical. I'll try to make it not so critical for you. For that, you have to keep a minute eye on the Zoom background. So today I will be timing the segments of prepared speeches, evaluation, and the panel discussion, which we are going to conduct today. I will alert each speaker for the time they are left using the green, yellow, and red card, which denotes the specific time. For your better understanding, let me show the color cards. Okay, for our 4 to 6 minute speech, I will show the green card at 4 minutes, yellow card at 5, and red card at 6 minutes. For the speeches of 5 to 7 minutes, I will show green card at 5, yellow card at 6, and red card at 7 minutes. We have a 8 to 10 minute speech today. For that, I will show green card at 8, yellow card at 9, and the red card at 10 minutes. For the exclusive panel discussion, the timing is 20 to 40 minutes, where I will reflect the green card at 20 minutes, yellow card at 30, and at 40 minutes, I'll show the red card. Evaluation timing is 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll show the green card, 2.5 minutes, the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, you will see the red card. Few minute important aspects to remember here, that you will get a grace period of 30 seconds post the timing is done for both prepared speeches as well as evaluation. For example, your speech is of 5 to 7 minutes duration. You will get a 30-second buffer once 7 minutes is done. Same applies to evaluation as well. I hope that makes it clear. So please keep a keen eye on the Zoom background. I will come back with my report once called upon by the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Sudharkar, back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smruti, for explaining your role in detail. Okay, now let's move on to most awaited section of today, that is prepared speech. Before I introduce our first speaker, let me confirm the presence of evaluator. Can you confirm evaluator Eliza? Toastmaster Eliza, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Today's first speaker, she's a global merchandiser at a top fashion retail brand. Off duty, she's an adventure lover, often found hiking in the mountains or soaking up the sun on the beaches, and a fitness enthusiast who recently completed her first half marathon. She joined Toastmasters to overcome her fear of public speaking, gain confidence, and get comfortable striking up conversation with few new faces. She is none other than Tanushekha Agnihottri. I am sorry if I am spelling it wrongly. Her path is presentation mastery, level 1 P1.
No, that is correct.
Thank you. She is doing her icebreaker, and her purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn basic structure of a public speech. The speech duration will be 4 to 6 minutes. Toastmaster Tanushekha Agnihottri, from mountains to milestones. From mountains to milestones, Toastmaster Tanushekha Agnihottri. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Sudharkar, for such a lovely introduction. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and my dearest guest. Today, it's an honor for me to deliver my first ever public speech at this forum. Before I begin, I just want to double check that my voice and video, there's no lag, right? Because I can see some, it's okay, right? Yeah, all right. Yeah, so here we go. The question lingered heavy with expectations. How about your icebreaker speech on May 23rd? A brief pause filled with nervous anticipation, and I said yes. This was a snippet from my conversation with our education VP, Toastmaster Sudharma. Let me tell you something. There's a question that can strike fear into hearts of many. Tell me about yourself. And no matter in what situation this question pops up, be it a job interview, a first date, or just a casual conversation, the pressure is real. But today, I'm here to turn that pressure into excitement as I share my journey of life with you all. And as they say, first impression is the last impression. So without further ado, let's dive in. Hello, everyone. I'm Tanushekha Agnihottri, a passionate backpacker, fitness enthusiast, and an ambitious young lady. At least I'm young at heart. By profession, I'm a global merchandiser at H&M, the fashion retail brand. And I hope that many of you here are a regular shopper at H&M because more selling means more bonuses for us. So keep shopping. Now let's rewind a bit and begin my journey from the beginning. I was born in Kanpur, a small town in Uttar Pradesh, but raised in different cities across the country, all thanks to the government job of my parents. Every summer vacation would mean 10 to 12 days of a trip, mostly in the mountains. And that is how I feel I developed my love for hikes and treks. Fast forward to the present, after spending 6 beautiful years in the city of Bangalore, I call this place my second home. And honestly, I just love South Indian authentic breakfast. I can have it probably every day in my life. Talking about education, I have graduated from National Institute of Fashion Technology in the year 2017. Wow, it's been 7 years already. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm still young at heart. Yes, I was a competitive student throughout the college and school. Even today, I'm always hustling, seeking out new adventures, always dreaming about ways to achieve all my goals. However, my parents never pressured me to obtain good marks or secure a top job at MNC. Never. In fact, they always said, do whatever makes you happy. We have always got your back. And hence, once I dreamt of becoming a travel blogger, because that's what all uh, 20 something dream about, or quitting my job, moving to Canada, they never questioned me. They never questioned me when I packed my bags and moved to the mountains because that's what I always wanted to do. Yet, like many others in their early 20s, I had a lot of confusion what to do, where to go, what to aim for. I also developed imposter syndrome and I used to doubt myself a lot. But over the past 2 years, I have reclaimed control over my life. I still have the same dreams to travel the world, live in the mountains, and whatnot. But now I see them from a new perspective. Now, now I see my 9 to 5 job as a blessing rather than a restraint. After spending a bomb on therapies, I have realized the only long-term solution to your good mental health is that you move, is that you exercise every day, no excuses, period. For me, weightlifting and running have become the ultimate therapy. So much so that last year I ran my first half half marathon, and I'm aiming to run a full marathon soon. Now here is a twist. I might seem to be an extrovert to all of you, but I'm quite an introvert. Climbing corporate ladder made me realize the importance of confident speaking, and that's why I joined Toastmasters to conquer my fear of engaging with new faces and striking conversations with them. My dream to deliver a terrific motivational speech in front of hundreds of people without a fear of failing. Honestly, preparing for this icebreaker speech was a journey in itself. It made me realize how far I have come. Wouldn't you all agree that a lot of time we are so caught up chasing our dreams and aspirations that we completely forget that life that we are living at the moment was once a dream? So here's your sign to pause, reflect, and express gratitude for what you have, for how far you have come. On that note, I would like to conclude my speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Sudharkar. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Wow, thank you, Tanushekha, for delivering such a strong and confident icebreaker speech. And let's give standing ovation to Tanushekha for delivering such a her first icebreaker. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, let's move on. Before that, Mamta Singh, can you confirm your presence?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Let me introduce today's second speaker. He is originally from Jharkhand and born and brought up in Calcutta. He did schooling and computer engineering in West Bengal, worked for 3.5 years in Indian IT company, and took a break for his pursuing his higher education. It's been 8 years currently working in an American IT company as business operations manager. He loves listening to different genre of music and play all kind of sport like cricket, football, badminton. He is Arjun Toastmaster Arjun Murmu. His path is presentation mastery level 1 P3. Project name is vocal variety and body language. The purpose of the project is for member to practice using a vocal variety and body language to enhance his speech. Time duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Arjun Murmu, helping hands. Helping hands, Toastmaster Arjun Murmu. Over to you.
You might have heard in flight, safety briefings, cabin crew demonstrates. If the cabin pressure suddenly drops, your mask will drop down above your seat. Make sure that your mask is on first before helping others. When I was 5 years old, I was living in a small town of Jharkhand in railway quarters. I remember I was playing with my friends outside my home. So one of my friend suggested, let's play together in a new place closer to the railway track. We were all excited and agreed to play in a new place. We went there. We enjoyed a lot, jumping with joy, running around. Suddenly, bam, I got hit on my forehead. Blood. I could see the first time so much of blood on my hand. I was crying like hell. My friends tried to pick me up. I couldn't stand. Nearby, there was one lady who was picking up coals. She saw me crying. She rushed towards me. She asked me, where is my home? I pointed a direction. She picked me up, held on her arms, and ran towards my home. When my mom saw my condition, she panicked instantly. Immediately, she called my neighboring uncle. That uncle took me to my nearest hospital. I realized I thanked these helping hands, an unknown lady, a neighboring uncle. Those were not related to me by any means, but they helped me to get the treatment on time. Coming back to Kolkata, when I was 15 years old, I was living with my mom and my elder sister. My dad got transferred to Odisha. Every month, he used to travel by train. One day, he took the train from Kolkata to Odisha, but he didn't reach that destination. Someone from my dad's office called us and informed that my dad has been hospitalized. We were in shock. What happened to him? Immediately, we took next available train and reached that hospital. Doctor mentioned that he is out of danger. He's recovering slowly. So we had some relief. My dad's colleague informed that their food was drugged and they were unconscious. Along with my father, 10 other fellow passengers were also drugged. Luckily, my dad's was carrying 2 bags. In one bag, he was carrying his police uniform and name tag was there. So those police officials who tracked my dad's identity and took immediate action and saved my dad's life. These unsung heroes were the helping hands for my dad. Later, 15 years down the line, God sometimes tests us. I came to know about my friend's condition. He was my childhood friend. We were together since school days. It's almost 2 decades. He was diagnosed with leukemia. Again, it was shocking for us. Why a young, kind-hearted person would suffer like this? All of our friend circle were very upset with this news. We stand together with him and fought together. We were there with my buddy for during the treatment through all the ups and downs in whatever ways, whether it could be emotionally or financially, we were there to help him. We saw him in the extreme pain, suffering this disease. He fought for a couple of years and he's no more with us, but his memories remain in our heart forever. Swami Vivekananda said, condemn none. If you can stretch your helping hand, do so. If you cannot, fold your hands, bless your brother, and they will go on their own way. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arjun Murmu, for sharing your story and delivering the speech. Moving on. Lakshmi, Sujatha, can you confirm your presence?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, next speaker, she is a senior quality analyst at one of the pharmaceutical companies. She loves traveling and cooking in her leisure time. She joined Toastmaster to elevate her public speaking and leadership skills. That is Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari. Her path is Presentation Mastery Level 3 P3. The project name Connect Audience with Storytelling. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. The speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari, find balance in life. Find balance in life. Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari, over to you.
Do you have mentor who imparts valuable life lesson to you? Please raise virtual hand of yours in case. I can see few hand raises here. I met my mentor when I was having 2 years of experience in my corporate life. His name was Avijit. His name is Avijit Shridhar. I worked along with him in one of the project, which is where I doesn't have any knowledge. I don't have any knowledge on that skill set. He mentored us along with other juniors, and then we proceeded on that project and then delivered. And then year by year of experiences in my corporate life, I delivered many tasks, stories, worked on many projects. I switched my company. And then after a few years of my experience in corporate life, I realized that I should take some challenging position in corporate life, some leadership position or some career oriented or something like leadership position in my, I should grow myself in my career path. Then I sat along with my manager and given some goals, and we agreed upon it. And then I started working on those pointers, on those goals. So I started working on those goals and then worked on those pointers given by my manager and agreed upon it. Then I expressed my interest into it. I said I wanted to be some leadership position here, and he has given list of goals and we agreed. After working on years, and then appraisal time came to an year end, and then he called to his cabin and he said that, Bimpy, you worked on really hard on this project and you really met the expectation, whatever been asked for you. But thing is that I regret, or I am sad to say that we are not going to promote you this year due to some organization restructuring is happening. I was very sad and devastated at that moment. I was not able to utter a single word what I should say. I was really numb on that moment. I just said okay and then came out from the cabin. After that, I called my mentor who mentored me like really long back, and then I said him all the situation happened with me. I told him the situation, that how the goals were set for me. I met those expectations, and due to some reason, this year I'm not going to promote it, which I have been asked for. He very carefully, he listened to me, my situation, and he just smiled to me and then said, it is nothing. It happens in organization to organization. This is nothing new situation happened to you. Then he just take a moment and he said, do you have any dependency in your project? I just thought and then I said, yes, I do have dependency in my project. Well, I was knowing this in corporate life from junior resource till CEO, everybody is replaceable. Instead of that, I told, yeah, I do have dependency in my project. After that, he said, I could see that you are sad and you're not in so mood to work on that day. Just I would suggest you take a day rest and be calm and enjoy your day. I took that suggestion, I nodded my head and then walk away from that place. After that time, then I quickly went to my home, sent mail that I am going for a leave, a day leave of request I need for today. And I will be coming back tomorrow. I took a day off. I talked with my friends, my family, whoever so. Then next day, my manager called me to his cabin and said, Bimpy, there were few tasks were pending, which was dependent on you and it was not delivered as expected. Could you please look into it and make it fast progress on that since client were asking for this? I was like really proud of me, and then I was thought, yes, I have my importance in this project. And then I walk away and started working on this. Then slowly, whenever I felt like whenever I felt like this thing is not going as per my way, then I start taking often leaves, and then these things happening for 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 months of period of time. And then my manager noticed that and he called me again and he said, Bimpy, I want somebody who can work on this project very focused and consistently. So I have already hired a replacement for you, and then please work on the replacement of that person. I was really shocked after listening this decision from my manager. I was wondering what wrong I have done, what I have done wrong. Then I immediately called my mentor again and then said, Abhijit, uh, I just have done what you have said to me. And then he again smiled and then said, Bimpy, you have listened just half of the lesson which I talked about. The second half of the lesson you have not heard. You just rush up the things and you went away from this. Second half of the lesson or the suggestion of mine was really important than the first half of the lesson. I was curious and also feeling dumb on this. Then he said, second half of the suggestion was really important. And he has given the example of a bulb. He said, see this bulb. If this bulb continuously lightening or working, people often take this bulb as granted. But when this bulb is keep on and off and not working, people realizes it and replace it with the high potential bulb. So this is what you have done. You have since it is not working on your way, you started taking you started taking leaves more often, just because a few things are not working according to your way. So dear Toastmaster and guest present here, find a balance in your life, balance between your work and your professional and personal life. Don't be so work oriented that you don't focus on your loved ones like your families, your friends, and don't be so focused on your work that you forget and keep granted on your loved ones. Over to you, TMOD of the day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bimpy Kumari. Find a balance in life. Absolutely true. I think there is something each of us to learn from your speech. Thank you. Moving on, Toastmaster Gauri Aggarwal, can you confirm your presence, please?
Good evening, Toastmaster Sudharkar. I'm there.
Thank you. Next speaker is Yogita Upadhyay. She's a go with the flow and a joyful person. She's always been a people person, so enjoying her face as an HR and image and soft skills trainer. Beyond the 9 to 5 hustle, you will find her dancing, reading mind-bending books, exploring new places, or experimenting with different foods. Her path is dynamic leadership, level 5 P1. Project name is lead in any situation. She has two project purposes. The first one is purpose is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer or the other organization. The second purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience as a leader and or the impact of the 360-degree evaluation. Her speech duration 8 to 10 minutes. Timer, please note the speech duration. Yogita Upadhyay, a comedy of errors, my leadership journey. A comedy of errors, my leadership journey, Toastmaster Yogita Upadhyay. Over to you.
Just a second before I start. Am I audible?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. All right, let's start. Imagine you are in the middle of a circus. There are bright lights, loud noises, and people running around everywhere. Now, replace the circus performers with students, salespeople, and office workers. And you have just stepped into my world of leadership. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My adventure in leadership began whilst I was in school. I was given the prestigious role of a class monitor. Now, you might think that this position is only about maintaining discipline and order. In reality, it's about ensuring that you don't get blamed for the chaos. I distinctly remember one day when my maths teacher, Mrs. Saxena, left the room and gave me the responsibility to manage the class. The moment she stepped out, the class turned into a cacophony. There were paper airplanes flying, students jumping on the desk, girls discussing the ribbons in the hair, and me, the so-called leader, I was hiding behind a textbook, praying she wouldn't come back. Until the bell rang. Spoiler alert, she came back early, and I spent the remaining period standing and getting scolded for my beloved names. Later, I was elected as the house captain of Yellow House, which sounded like a noble title until I realized the speciality of this house. Everybody in this house were best in making excuses. Now, my task was to organize students for cultural and social events. I was trying to rally a group of sleepy teenagers for the sports events. My morning motivation was met with groans and yawns. Nobody showed up on time. I tried and tried again, but it did not work out. After some time, I resorted to bribery. I understood that maybe if I could give them some snacks, they will be coming to the practice. They came for once. Here I realized that you need to be very, very persistent and creative in your leadership style. Later, what happened? They were there with me until the time for snacks was there, and they used to escape as soon as they could. Fast forward to my career, and I found myself leading a sales team. Imagine being tasked with not only hitting targets, but also motivating a group of individuals who range from over-caffeinated go-getters to enthusiastic procrastinators. One of my experiences as a team lead was during a sales meeting, which I affectionately called Monday Madness. I'll let you know. Every Monday morning, what happened, I used to gather my team. I used to discuss my goals, challenges, and the latest gossip. During one such meeting, I tried to boost morale of my team by introducing a new sales incentive. After discussing the week's plan, I smiled and I enthusiastically announced, hey, whosoever achieves the best target for this month will get an extra coveted prize, an extra long lunch break. I kept smiling for 2 seconds and I expected cheers. Instead, I got blank stares. One brave soul asked, ma'am, can we just get a pizza party instead? Now here I realized good food is the ultimate motivator. Another memorable moment was when we hit a major sales slump and I was determined to turn things around. I organized a team building scavenger hunt around the office to break the monotony. I hid clues and small prizes in various places, thinking it would be a fun way to boost the morale of my team and also it would be funny. It was going very well until we lost a new hire, Ashish. Ashish actually took a wrong turn and ended up in the wrong department. We found him an hour later and he was happily indulged into the discussion about budget forecast. But yes, I remember it did bring a lot of laughter and became an office legend. Now, I was brainstorming ideas and I was discussing with team how to improve sales. I received a mix of practical suggestions and some were really funny. They said, let's offer buy one, get one free deal, ma'am. Another one said, what if we hypnotize the people? I laughed, they laughed, we laughed. Actually, we stumbled upon a strategy during this that actually worked. We focused on personalized follow-ups and referrals, and it increased our sales by 20%. One of the most memorable feedback sessions I have received during my tenure as a team lead was from the most straightforward team member. He looked me in my eye and said, ma'am, you really motivate us. Now, don't think you're perfect now. You just motivate us because you're one of us. You mess up and you still work upon so that we can do better. This was a humbling moment. Now I realize the importance of authenticity and approachability in leadership. Currently, I am an HR manager, which is not only about recruiting the new talents and retaining the existing. It is about being a zookeeper, where people always have a problem with their coffees. Here I launched the 360-degree evaluation, and I expected I will receive a constructive feedback. What I got, one said, ma'am, you're a great leader because you always know where we can find the snacks in the office. Your meetings are unforgettable, ma'am, because they are longer than a Tolstoy novel. My favorite comment was, you have a unique ability to turn any situation into a team building exercise, even when we just want to escape for a cigarette break to the restroom. But amidst the humor, there were some nuggets of wisdom. I learned that leadership is not about being perfect. It's about being relatable and practical. My peers appreciated that I could laugh at myself and admit that I did not have all the answers. They valued my ability to stay calm under pressure, mainly because it reassured them that we will not go down the ship if we are in the journey together. In reflecting on these experiences, I have realized that leadership is less about leading, it is more about learning. Learning to navigate with chaos through a sense of humor. Learning to motivate without making everybody mad. Learning to listen even when the feedback is not about performance and it is about the choice of snacks. So, my dear friends and Toastmasters, if you can take away one lesson from my speech today, let it be this. Leadership is an adventure and it's filled with ups and downs. It has laughters and tears. And there will be numerous moments when you feel maybe you're not the right person for this job. But if you can laugh along the absurdity and you can move along with your team, you will emerge out as one of the best leader for your team. Maybe you are not best for everyone. You need not be. Thank you to everyone for joining me on my journey of leadership. I hope everybody's journey is filled with same humor and resilience. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Yogita. I agree that 360 evaluations are not easy, but there is a lot to learn always. Okay, moving on. Toastmaster Anirban, can you confirm your presence?
Yeah, I am there.
Thank you. Our next speaker is a winner of 2 DTM awards and has completed 10 paths in Toastmaster pathways. He has been a President's Distinguished Division Director, a Distinguished Area Director in the past. Outside Toastmaster, he played several leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies, startups, and non-profits. Currently, he is building his own edutech startup, that is Proactive, which is he founded in June 2020. So you know who is that? That is DTM Sourav. His path is persuasive influence, level 5 P1. High project name is High Performance Leadership Speech 2. There are 2 project purpose. The first one is for the member to apply his or her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The second is for the member to introduce his plan and vision. Speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. DTM Sourav Dutta, it takes 3 to tango. It takes 3 to tango. DTM Sourav Dutta.
It takes 3 to tango. Anyone here who can guess which 3 or what 3 am I talking about right now?
Three Musketeers.
Okay, what is this 3 here? 3 different people, 3 different organizations, 3 different institutions, 3 different countries, 3 different personalities. What am I talking about? What is this 3 in the 3 to tango? Can anyone take a guess?
VP Education, VP Membership, VP PR.
Okay. This is what happens when you become a new officer. Okay, not the right answer. Anyone else? No.
Three Gabbys Club.
Absolutely. I'm talking about the 3 Gabbys Club. I didn't think that you would struggle to answer this so much because I've been talking about the 3 Gabbys Clubs ever since the Gabbys Clubs have been formed, right? So, and I promise you, this will probably be one of my final speeches on the 3 Gabbys Clubs, not because that I'm tired talking about the 3 Gabbys Clubs, because very soon I will be talking about 4 Gabbys Clubs, right? So, consider this as one of the last speeches on the 3 Gabbys Clubs. And today I'm going to share with you the experience of making these 3 clubs successful in terms of some of the Toastmaster parameters. So before I talk about the success story, let me also define what success looks like, or the way that we looked at success. For us, success is not about certain awards. For us, success is not about certain number of points and so on. For us, success is about creating a safe place for you to come and share stories. Share stories that scare you, stories that make you nervous, stories that make you feel vulnerable. You heard 2 such stories already today. Bold and beautiful stories, which can only be shared in a platform where you consider to be safe, right? And that is what we consider as success. But then, we are a part of an organization which has its defined success metrics. We may want to be as bohemian that we want to, that we would love to. But at the end of the day, there is an organization. And if you're a part of the organization and the organization believes in certain metrics, we also need to do our bit in terms of meeting those metrics. We cannot just say that we have our own definition of success and we don't go with the organization's definition of success. So all the Toastmasters here and all the Toastmaster leaders could easily be able to answer this question, that what is the metrics that we consider as Toastmasters within Toastmasters is one of the metrics, or one of the universally accepted metrics of success. And that is becoming a distinguished club. And this is something that has happened very easily for the Gabbys from the very start. The first Gabbys Club, when it was formed chartered in 2020, September. At that point of time itself, that's very year, we had just got some 6-7 months left for that particular program year. And we easily got the 10 DCP points and became a President's Distinguished Club with 10 DCP points. But when we decided to multiply the Gabbys first into 2 clubs and then into 3 clubs, the journey got harder. The first reality check for us happened when we missed the Talk Up Toastmasters Award. The first time in the last 3 years. We realized that getting 3 clubs meet a milestone is not 3x difficult. It is 30x difficult because the complications, the complexities, the challenges, they don't increase in an arithmetic progression. They increase in a geometric progression. So we started looking at ways and means on how we can make the 3 clubs a President's Distinguished Club. Getting the DCP awards in terms of education, in terms of administration and all that, submitting the club officers list and so on, was not that difficult. We easily had enough number of DCP points on the board. We also had added enough number of new members and reinstated members and dual members. So that was also taken care of. Then what was the challenging part? The challenging part was to get sufficient number of members to renew for the next year. because you become a distinguished club or a president's distinguished club only when you get these number of DCP points, but also you have a minimum criteria that you meet for becoming a president's distinguished club. For us, 2 of these clubs needed a minimum of 20 members, and the third club needed a minimum of 6 members, because when we chartered this club, we chartered this club by splitting a club. So the base that we had was only 3. So we needed 6, but we definitely did not want to end at 6. So we wanted to be somewhere at around 12 so that the club continues to be in good standing, because anything less than 8, the club would miss the good standing status. At that point of time, I formed a guidance committee. The guidance committee comprised of the VP memberships of all the 3 clubs and my partner in crime, that anything and everything that I do within and beyond Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmaster Nancy Goel. So 5 of us got into a mission in terms of making the 3 clubs a distinguished club. And that worked well for us. All the 3 clubs eventually became a distinguished club. All the 3 clubs got the 10 DCP points. All the 3 clubs got the right number of members that we needed to become a distinguished club. What did we do in that 1.5 month period? Something incredible. We reached out to every single member. Not that we were reaching out to them for the first time during the time of renewals. We have been reaching out to them throughout the year. The Gabbys has almost 70 plus members. And even when we had 100 members, our VPs were totally connected with all the 100 members. Now, when we have 70 members, our VPs totally connected with all the 70 members. But during the times of renewal, we always need to give that extra push, that extra credibility, that extra confidence to the members that they are investing their time, energy, and money in the right place, that they are in the right place to take their learning journey forward. 70 people were contacted on a one-to-one basis. And the result is there for us to see. We had, at that point of time, 75 people on our roster. And today we have got 70 people on the roster. The number of churns that we had on the base is only around less than 10. And this number will only increase from here. By the end of this program year, the Gabbys is expecting to touch 100 members. And once we do that, we would be ready for our 4th club. And if you're wondering why is the Gabbys on a mission to open so many clubs, because we are on a mission to provide you so many meeting opportunities every week, so that any day you wake up and want to attend a Toastmaster meeting, you just need to ask, when is the Gabbys meeting today? Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Saravdata. You always inspire us because you always deliver smooth and strong speeches, and today is no different. Thank you. All the fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, thank you for staying with us through this incredible journey of words, wisdom, and inspiration. As we approach the grand finale of our speech marathon, it is time to introduce our final speaker. Our last speaker is someone who needs no introduction. Today, she will speak to a panel of distinguished doctors who will educate, inspire, and motivate us about medical procedures, critical health condition, and more. But before I introduce, let me confirm. Nancy Goel, can you confirm your presence, please?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Thank you, DTM Nancy Goel. Samita Kar, she is a soft skills trainer with 30 plus years of experience in shaping young minds. From being a teacher to principal, she loved to read and travel. Her path is effective coaching, level 5, L5P2. Project name is panel, that is panel discussion. The project purpose is for the member to apply her skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. Please note the duration will be 20 to 40 minutes. Toastmaster Samita Kar, communication skills for doctors. Communication skills for doctors, Toastmaster Samita Kar.
Thank you. Thank you, TMOD. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. You know what? When we are in pain and we want that pain to be relieved, what do we do? Whom do we remember? Yes, doctors. And today I have with me four amazing doctors who are going to talk about communication skills in their professional life. They are professionals and they deal with human beings every single day. So if you are a lawyer or a CA, if you are in any profession where you have to deal with people, you will get immense value from this panel discussion. Before introducing my panelists, let me tell you something. We are ready for questions. Please put up your questions in the chat box. And at the end of the session, I will be asking the panelists those questions. So let me start by introducing my panelists. My youngest panelist is Abhicha Singh. Abhicha is a third-year student in ESI Medical College and Hospital. My second panelist is Dr. Debanshu Ojha. He is an intern. That is, he has finished his medical education and now he has gone to the practical side. And he is from the Government Medical College, Joka. Next panelist, Dr. Subodh Nandwani, is a dermatologist, a passionate dermatologist who loves to blend science and art to reveal skin's natural beauty, dedicated to empowering patients with skincare knowledge for radiant and confident living. And then we have a senior doctor, Dr. Anshu, who is a pathologist who has won many awards. And she is the coordinator of Medical Education Unit and Internal Quality Assurance Cells at her institute. She designs and conducts faculty development workshops both in India and abroad. I welcome all my panelists.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting us for this panel discussion. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So let me start with panelist one. Tell me, do doctors need communication skill? Do you need communication skill?
Is this question directed to me, ma'am?
No, it is for Abhicha.
Okay.
Ma'am, of course, doctors need communication skills as any other professional would, because not only do we have to interact very well with our patients, but also with our colleagues. And here, wrong communication could mean loss of life. So miscommunication shouldn't be a possibility here. So for doctors, communication skills are very important.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Debanshu, what is your thought on this?
Actually, this is a very good question, and I'd like to share an experience about this. I'd like to share an experience if ma'am allows me.
Yes, please.
This experience is like I'm an intern and I'm the one in direct contact with the patient parties. As the senior doctors are more involved with the OPDs and OTs. So what I found out there that this communication helps us not just building a safer environment for the doctors. I'd like to add this safe word here because this thing is going on in the news about doctors' safety and all. This communication skill, building a good communication skill will provide a safer environment as well to the doctors. I'd like to add this point over here.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Subodh, I would love to add, where do you use your communication skill in your professional life?
Ma'am, where it is, I don't think communication skills in a doctor should be restricted to some scenarios. It should be used in daily basis with interacting with every patient. So basically, coming to where, so I use it day to day with every patient, and not only with the patient, also with the inter-staff, also with the staff we have. As a doctor, you have a lot of nurses working under you. There is a hospital staff. If you want to create a healing environment which chooses the patient, which patient is able to open up, the environment should be good, and that is only possible if there is a soft-spoken doctor. And coming to, of course, some scenarios are much more important when it comes to communication skills. Like if some doctor is breaking out a news to the patient that he or she has a life-threatening disease or a lifelong disease or a disease which is going to affect the profession, their communication becomes very much important, as you have to break out the news. Then you must sensitize the patient first. You cannot just bluntly break out the news. The patient will go into emotional outburst. So you have to sensitize the patient. Then you have to break out the news. Then you have to also counsel about the treatment, that the disease is manageable, treatable, and you have to all do it at once so that patient doesn't go into extreme emotions. So there it is very important. And again, as Dr. Dipanshu Oja highlighted the point, safe for doctors. So I think communication plays a key role if we want to resolve conflicts, which we are actually listening a lot nowadays, that there have been mob attacks on the doctors in many places. So if we want to resolve these conflicts and lawsuits against doctors, I think communication plays an important role.
Wow, truly said. You have put in so much that doctors should have a very effective method of communication. They should have good interpersonal skills so that they can deal with the nurses and the patients when they come and what they want to hear from a doctor. You have to be sensitive enough. With that empathy, you need to speak. Very well said. And now, Dr. Anshu, since you have so much of experience, what in your experience does a doctor, when they are going out in the field, need to know about communication?
Right. I am a medical educator, and I've seen how communication skills have changed through the years. So when I was a student, there was no concept of teaching students anything about communication skills. You learned by observing your teachers. And as I could say that sometimes you chose the right role models, sometimes you chose the wrong role models. Not every doctor behaves properly. But now in the curriculum, if you look at the roles of a doctor, they are defined as 5 different roles of a doctor. And they say the doctor should be a clinician, they should be a leader or a team member. The third competency required is that they should be a communicator, a professional, and a lifelong learner. So it's up there, clear and bright, loud and clear that communication is an important skill. Now, if you look at the times, if in the old films that you used to have a doctor, a family doctor, so to say, who would say anything and the whole family would accept it. The times have changed. Every patient already has done some amount of research on Google before they come to you. And the era of the paternalistic doctor has completely changed. What we are now advising our students to do is to be able to communicate with your patients about why they are advising something. These days, patients will not take your word for it, saying that this is my idea or my opinion. You will have to explain to them why you are advising something, and they have a choice to either accept or reject what you're saying. So we're now moving into the era of shared decision making, and that is one of the things we teach our students. So communication has several aspects to it. We look at what you're talking about, which is consulting skills, counseling skills, but we also look at other things like body language, whether you can communicate and show empathy to the patient, whether you can break bad news, and how you can have written communication, the prescriptions you write, the documents that you make, which can easily be hauled up for litigation. So how you record everything that you do, written communication, oral communication, your interpersonal skills with not only the patients, but the caregivers. Are you communicating whether a patient is doing well or not? That becomes important. How you talk to the relatives, your colleagues, and also to your fellow clinicians. That all of these become important.
Yes, very well put up. Now, Dr. Anshu has highlighted a very important point that when she had started her journey, at that moment, communication skill was through learning from your elders, your seniors, and not always was it written down what is a proper communication. Whereas now it has been laid down that these are the things that a doctor needs to know to build more, as you have rightly pointed out, shared decision making, because information era, this is an era of information where the patient also has a lot of information and the doctor needs to state the why of what the doctor is writing. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Debanshu, where did you actually use your communication skill? In which place have you actually used it as an intern? Yes, Dr. Debanshu? We can't hear you. Okay. Can Abhipsha, can you go for this? Where actually have you used your communication skill?
So ma'am, right now my experience is very limited because I'm still an undergrad student. So most of my communication skills, whenever they have been put in use, it has been through the seminars and the presentations, which I usually do in classes. Apart a bit of communication with my seniors and juniors, but I think when I am actually an intern, it is then when I'll actually be putting my communication skills to use. Right now, it is very limited.
Okay. So as a student, you have more of studies where you don't come in contact with the patients. So it is mostly communication within your friends or with your seniors. Professional communication, you will start once you start interacting with the patients. Very good. Dr. Subbu, now you are one who is going and presenting out papers. Where do you are seeing patients in the OPD, where do you think your communication skills are used the most?
Ma'am, I think the use of communication skills is much more in the OPD only. And it matters because ultimately the doctor is known for the patient's results. So a patient's results will be there when the patient will be compliant. I think the patient compliance includes two things. The patient will take your medication or not, or the patient will come back to you for a follow-up or not. So for that, there should be a trust building in the limited conversation the doctor has with the patient. So, and that makes the patient compliant. Moreover, when the patient leaves your room, there is the satisfaction with the patient is very much important. If the patient is satisfied with the diagnosis one has given, and if the patient is satisfied that the treatment he or she has been given is appropriate, that will itself lead to a psychological healing. That matters.
Okay, thank you. So the trust building is very essential. So the way you are conversing, you need to build the trust so that the patient listens to what you are saying, follows your guideline, and if needed, comes back to you for the follow-up. That is very, very essential. Now, Dr. Anshu, I would like to ask you, how much is active listening important for the students?
Yeah, there is evidence in literature to show that given the number of patients we have every day, like you sit in a thoroughly crowded OPD setup where you have 200 patients that you're asked to finish meaning listen to in that span of 9 to 12 or 9 to 1. So we are heavily overworked. But the sad part is we do not have the privacy, which is important, to talk to patients separately. Like it's not like a private hospital when you sit in a government hospital. And what happens is every patient gets hardly 1 to 2 minutes to explain their whole story. So when you actually need active listening, it means you are respecting the patient, you are hearing their entire story, you are expressing empathy to them. So suppose there is a mother who's come with a sick child. She has some amount of concern. And if you're just going to just keep writing down on your sheet without even maintaining eye contact, it doesn't help. So active listening means you are going to listen to the story, respond. Sometimes you might ask, you might say, I understand what it means by when you say that you're fearful of losing your child, or you might ask her to paraphrase, if is what I'm saying, is what I'm hearing correct or not. So those are ways in which you express active listening. So it's not just, the usual thing is when you have so overworked, you have a pen or you have your computer and you keep typing the history of what you're listening. That eye contact, real listening is very important here. And also, how close is it to the patient, your posture, how relaxed you feel, or whether you look slightly put off. All of these things are very important, and sadly, they're hardly taught. So we have included these in the curriculum now, teaching students how it matters. If your patient is lying down on a bed and you are standing, it shows hierarchy. So you pull a chair, sit down next to the patient, and then talk. That communicates your, the actual need to listen to somebody. So that care, that concern has to be expressed.
Very well put in, very well put in. It's not only for the doctor, but for everyone. When we are working, like she rightly pointed out, we have so many patients and the time is limited. But if you are not actively listening, that trust is not developed. And when the trust is not developed, the patient doesn't feel comfortable. The patient feels that she or he has not been heard by the doctor. If the doctor is not giving eye contact, if the doctor, Dr. Anshu rightly pointed out, if a patient is lying down and the doctor is standing, hierarchy, you take a chair, sit down, talk to the patient is more comfortable and they express what they are really feeling. Yes, I know you have pointed it out, the number of patients and the time is a constraint always. But then these skills will help you within that limited time to get the best out of it. The next question I will be asking Abhiksha. Abhiksha, since you were a student, which skill would you like to learn in the communication skills part? Which skill would you love to learn right now so that in future you can use it?
Ma'am, as it has already been discussed, I think for right now, for me, the most important skill to learn would be listening, because I'm still in my learning years. So the more I can listen and absorb, the more trained I would be as a professional. Apart from listening, I think body language would be very important, because non-verbals are a very important component of communication. So when it comes to listening, it's not only listening to respond or react, but also listening to understand. So there has to be an intent to not only reply to the person. I have to have this, I think it comes from compassion and the ability to understand others. I have noticed that all my professors who had this intent of understanding me would always listen very deeply to what I was saying before they gave me any sort of advice. So if I had one skill to master, it would be listening.
Very well put in. Any student who is listening out there, or anyone who is a lifelong learner, remember that active listening is what Abhiksha is saying will make her a better person and a better doctor, because that is how she will absorb better, learn better, and ultimately become a better doctor. Dr. Debanshu, now since you are an intern, now you will be going out and presenting to the different forums. What skills do you feel is most important to you?
Ma'am, the leadership skill which were taught in my curriculum, which have been included in my curriculum since my batch, are very important skills that I have been taught, and I think it has always helped me when I have had one or two experiences of going to some forums and talking about. So leadership skills and active involvement in any the problem solving skills which we learned during our curriculum. These are some important skills that I feel like are important when we are going out and talking in a forum, in a public speaking platform.
Okay, very well put in that you want to have the leadership skill and problem solving ability. Dr. Subodh, as Dr. Anshu said, it is in the curriculum right now. Did you ever feel that you were not able to express yourself properly just because you didn't have proper communication skill as a doctor?
Yes,
Any
ma'am, sure.
incident?
Yes, ma'am. There are incidences, and especially when I was I newly joined as a resident, and as all days go, a hectic OPD was there, and I was just sitting with back-to-back patients coming. So a young female entered with a white patch on her face, and it was clearly very much visible that it was vitiligo. And I, without any considering anything else, I just told her that it is vitiligo. And probably she had heard somewhere else or something. She was just waiting to hear that, and she just had an emotional outburst, started to cry, and was crying for the next 10 minutes. And then and there, I realized that how much that emotional counseling and communication skills are important for a doctor, so that these emotional outbursts can be controlled. Moreover, so from after that, I have always been think twice before I give a new diagnosis to the patient, and read my words twice before I do the counseling. So, thinking that what effects these are going to make to the patient.
Yes, words have the biggest effect on human beings. And as a doctor, they take every word that you are saying, especially when someone is coming with a white patch and you are diagnosing it as something which is a taboo still now in India as vitiligo. And there was an emotional outburst. There you felt that if you could have communicated better, maybe that emotional outburst would not have been there, with lots of empathy and counseling if you could do. Now, since Dr. Devanshu is in an era where he is learning communication skills, he is better off than Dr. Subodh, who had to learn from his seniors. I'll go back to Dr. Anshu. Any funny incident you had just because there was a mishap in communication skill, or any incident that you would like to share?
Um, I remember lots of incidents, but I would like to narrate one which is not funny, but it made a huge impact on me. I had just joined my residency and I was asked to do a house job in surgery. So I was a real novice there. And one Saturday evening, there was a sumo which had overturned somewhere, and around 15 people were injured in that accident. So we had a sudden inflow of around 15 patients in my ward. I was new to the job, and most of the patients were, had simple bruises and scratches, not too much. But there was one 19-year-old, I remember, who came with a severe head injury. And he happened to be the the only child of a single mother. And these people had some political connection. They were volunteers of some political party. So, because they were all some of all these political parties, a lot of visitors were coming into the wards. And I was not able to control them or manage the ward because there were so many, it was crowded in the ward. So we managed, and we also told the mother of the son that the patient is critical. He had a severe head injury. The next morning, on Sunday morning, I discharged almost all the other patients who had minor scratches and bruises. But this person, on the morning 8 a.m. round, he looked very critical. So my medical officer who had come with me told me that this patient needed a CT scan that day, and then he had to be shifted to the ICU. Now, what happened was it was a Sunday, and lots of these relatives, I don't know whether relatives or friends or whoever, they started approaching the ward. So by 8:30, all my seniors had disappeared because it was Sunday. I had limited one nurse and one ward boy with me, and I was shifting the patient on a stretcher to the CT scan, which was on the ground floor. So while I was shifting it, before that, of course, we had a written consent form and everything saying that the patient is critical. By the time I took the patient to the CT scan, there was this group of 30 people, very aggressive looking boys, walking behind me. And one of them whispered in my ears, that, "Ma'am, if something happens to this patient, we'll see that you don't survive." It was scary. It was really scary for me. And as luck would have it, I reached the CT scan, the room for there, and the patient turned worse. So I could not do the CT scan. I had to rush the patient to the third floor where the ICU was. And throughout this whole group of gang of guys were rushing behind me, begging for my blood. So I was new. I didn't have any other support, no seniors around me. And I managed to take the patient into the ICU, where we tried to rescue the patient. And as expected, we couldn't save the patient. Now, this whole group, they went around to the ward, they broke furniture, they broke glasses. And I was told by the nurses, please do not step out, they will hurt you. So it was one of the scariest moments of my life. And I remember they took me from a back door and they told me, do not return to the ward until the next morning. So I still feel that had my seniors been around, had somebody explained properly to them that this boy is critical, we cannot save this person. And had there been more reasonable people around and not the political kinds, communication would have been easy. But the impact of this, the kind of violence that you see these days, is because the trust between the doctors and the patients is missing. So gradually, that old thing of, the family doctor coming in and everybody trusting him, that's gone. So communication skills become more imperative here of how you sit, how you communicate right in the beginning. And now, with the increased risk of litigation, we have to take those documents saying that, yes, we have been informed. But it usually is, people come to you so much of fear, so much of anger, so much of grief. It's a very emotional environment. And to handle this sometimes becomes really difficult.
So what I could gather from your story was, it was a long time ago that you were a novice doctor, but you were so scared that the emotion is still raw. And I could see it while you were narrating it, that how frightened you were because you were desperately trying to save, but the communication with the parents, with the relatives could have been much better for them also to be informed how serious the patient is. That is one part where you felt that better communication would lead to better trust, and better trust would have not ended up in such a bad way as you had ended up in. That was a scary story indeed, but definitely there were many good stories also during your tenure for as being a doctor and being an educator. Anyone who has a question can please post the question in the chat box. I'll be taking up the questions at the end of the session. I would like to ask Dr. Abhicha, you as a doctor, becoming a doctor, what do you think will help you become the best doctor that you can become?
Ma'am, I think as an upcoming doctor, more practical hands-on experience would be very important, because I see my batchmates and I see our interns and I see my seniors. A lot of them are nerds, totally into books. But when it comes to hands-on experience, I see the backbenchers taking the forefront. And that is because confidence is something which can come only with practice. So people who have studied a bit less of books, but have actually gone out, attended workshops, sat with the seniors and learned the skills, are much more confident when it comes to interacting with the patient, doing basic jobs such as cannulating the patient or catheterizing the patient or any other job, suturing. So these are things which come only with practice. So I feel that the current curriculum is more focused on theory, and a bit more hands-on experience would be better so that we don't have this sudden switch when we are interning.
Okay, a very, very good point. That theory is good and learning the theory, but let me have the skills to handle the patient and do the work that I'm supposed to do after the theory gets over. Very good. Dr. Devanshu, what do you think is the difference between you were a student recently and now you have come to the practical aspect? Which skills do you think are most important in the current journey that you are in?
Actually, right now in the current journey, what I feel is empathy. Empathy when you're talking to a patient's relative. because what I feel when I see around me, my seniors and some of the seniors which I have seen right now, they're not very much empathetic to the patient, most of them. And this brings a lack of trust and conflicts between a patient and a patient attendant. And it's not their fault. It's actually, the thing is, we have a big load of patient in a government hospital setup, and we don't have time to give to all the patient attendants and all the patient parties. So I think giving time and being empathic to the patient attendants, because in a recent experience which I had is I was asked to counsel a daughter of a patient who was the only member and was in his and was suffering from a disease which was not curable, not operable. He was in an ICU, and I was asked by my seniors to go and counsel the patient about the condition. He was on a palliative care. There were two ways I could have communicated this with the patient party, with the daughter of that father, with the daughter of that patient. One was I could have just gone. I could have just saved my time. I could have just told her that your father is not going to survive long. You're just keeping him on ventilators, and you have to just wait for the time. And the second way, which I was taught in my curriculum, was being empathic, was to give time to the patient. I gave time to time to the patient attendant. I was little empathic about the condition. I counseled her that, yeah, I can understand what you're going through right now. I give time to the patient. I was, was going around the bushes like I can understand what you're standing right now, and I had to explain everything what his father's condition was, why he's not operable, why he can't be cured, and how long we can keep him. It's all about that. I gave time to the patient, and the patient was satisfied after that. What I felt, the patient was satisfied after that, and before that, the patient was more in a state of ambush. He was more in a state of gush. But that time which I gave to the patient, that little time which I spent from the hectic duties which we have, that made the patient calm down. And then that's something I feel is important for every doctor, to be empathetic and to give time to patient attendance.
So once you have stepped into the practical aspect of it, you feel that having that empathy, taking that time out, sitting and explaining, communicating clearly of why what you were saying, that helps the patient also to understand why you're taking the stand. Dr. Subodh, I would like you to quickly summarize the communication skills in doctors that we have discussed so far.
So, ma'am, to summarize it, the communication skills, first, we need to be empathetic. The most important, what I felt with this discussion, is the empathy. And empathy is to make the feel patient that we realize their emotions. And it is an equally disturbing moment for us to break the news. Then the second is active listening. Active listening happens when there is a eye contact with the patient, direct eye contact with the patient, and you are making them feel that you are listening to them. And the patient realizes that he or she has been heard with head nodding, eye contact, and your body language should be according to that. Okay. Then we have the trust building. Trust building between the patient. The conversation should be like that. The patient trust the doctor, and that involves the better patient compliance and healing of the patient. Then there is the better doctor-patient relationship.
Better doctor-patient relationship. Yes. Dr. Anshu, can you quickly, within 30 seconds, summarize what way you have been discussing about the communication skills?
As a medical teacher, we do a lot of things to train our medical students. So one of the things is that we have a longitudinal program called ATCOM. ATCOM is an acronym for Attitudes, Ethics and Communication, where we teach them in a longitudinal fashion throughout the course how to communicate, how to gather history, how not to use jargon and speak in the patient's own language. But we also use innovative methods like theater, role plays, using videos, teaching about body language. So we are using a lot of other interesting methods to teach our students and give them practice of how to apply these skills in the artificial situation and then in the real situation. So a lot of is going on.
Okay, so you teach communication skill as a part of curriculum right now, and you do take the help of professionals also, where you feel that the professionals can do a better job in teaching them the communication skill. Let it be body language, let it be vocal variety, you would help. So now we are open to questions. Yes, DTM Sourav Dutta, you have a question?
Yes. So when we were growing up, we were always told that doctors are next to God, right? And today, I think things have changed a lot drastically. Today, the kind of experiences that you shared clearly doesn't look like that. That we still look at it that way. So, do you, from a communication standpoint, how things have changed? Like when people were when you were communicating as godly figures to now that you're looked upon more as a professional who can also make mistakes, and that's okay, right? So, how is, from a communication standpoint, how is that impacting you?
Yes, Dr. Anshu, you can take that question.
Yes. So what usually happens is that one of the key things every doctor should know is that they are not God. One needs to know their limitations. And that tells you what you can do and what you cannot do, and when you need to refer a patient somewhere else. But also important in the scenario that you talked about is give the patient different choices, whether it is to do with the costs, how much they have to spend, whether it is to do with the different kinds of treatment, if there are different surgeries available, if there are different investigations available. All of this has to be informed to the patient. So you need information to be given completely to the patient and let the patient make the choice. In India, unfortunately, it usually happens that patients are not very literate. So therefore, that paternalistic tradition comes in. But if you go, even now, that smartphone is in everybody's hand here. And so we need to change ourselves and now communicate more effectively so that we don't get into trouble. So whether it is counseling, whether it is consulting, you need to inform them. Something as simple as if you're a diabetic and if I need to put you on a diet, my just telling you that this is the diet and writing it for you will not work. Unless you're convinced, unless I rope you into the conversation and tell you this is what is good for you. So in every aspect, I need to involve the patient into the conversation. That's completely changed.
So may I add one point, that is, previously information was limited. Doctors were treated as God. Today, information is freely available. Number of options are also available. So the patient needs to be informed of what decision was taken and why. And the patient needs to be given an option on what the patient can choose, because the cost varies a lot. With this, we come to the end of the panel discussion. What a lovely evening it was, and so much learning to take place. I, for one, always thought doctors have a beautiful time going and seeing patients and coming back. And of course, sometimes at the back of my mind, I thought they made loads of money too. But listening to the stories here made me think that they also face a lot of problem. And being a professional, having your right communication skills, you need to have active listening, build that trust, have that empathy, and then you become a better doctor. You can serve better. Over to you, TMOD.
Empathy is surely a powerful tool, and particularly for doctors. Totally agree. And also among many things, particularly today's era, thanks to WhatsApp University, Google University, since everybody is a doctor, I think communication is very, very critical. Thank you, Samita, and entire panel of doctors for wonderful, wonderful panel discussion. Thank you. Okay, we are done with the all prepared speech, and I request timer to share your reports, and particularly if you have any disqualifications.
Thank you so much, Susma Sudharkar. For the prepared speeches, we have only one disqualification, that is speaker number 3, Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari. Other than that, all the speakers qualified for the polling.
Thank you, Toastmasters Smruti. Today, no poll since we have an icebreaker speech. Can we take 5 minutes break? Okay, so 8:34 now. So we will assemble back at 8:39.
Mamta Singh, can you confirm your presence?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. The essence in human society, the essence of our existence is the emotional bond we form with each other and the support we give to each other. The same emotional connect I felt while listening to the speech of my target speaker, Toastmaster Arjun. Toastmaster Arjun, congratulations for delivering an engrossing, empathetic, and compassionate speech today. Coming to your evaluation, there are two things which I liked about your speech. The first was the structure, and the second was the example. The structure, at the end of the speech, you concluded like, this is what I wanted to say on helping hands. And the content of your speech was all about helping hands. So I did not find any misalignment in the content, what you're speaking, and the topic of your speech. And second point was the example. You brought example from two different spheres of your life, your dad and the friend suffering from leukemia. So that example part I liked about your speech. Now coming to the objective of your speech. The objective of your speech was asking you to was asking you the vocal variety or body language to enhance your speech. And I saw you using a very limited of body language, and it becomes very critical for you when your objective is asking you to do the body language, right? You could have intensified your body language or added a little bit of drama, exaggerated body language in that case, because in your speech there was scenario where you were playing on the railway track and you got injured and you were bleeding. So in all those scenarios you could have used your body language to visualize us, right? So that part was missing. You can incorporate later. Coming to the impact wise, also again I was struggling to find the impact in your speech, because you are talking about the help. Every day we help each other, we get help from each other, right? So we know 24/7 we are helping each other in job, in Toastmaster, in personal life, everywhere. We know what extra you are adding. We have given 5 to 7 minutes of our life to you. You need to ensure as a speaker that your audience is taking something from your speech, right? So that part was again missing. Overall, next is the point of recommendation. The point of recommendation, I would recommend you to repeat your speech with the body language and impact part. This is just the one line. You need to repeat your speech because this is going to take your speech from good to great. Overall, if I summarize your speech, connect wise, I easily emotionally connected with your speech, easy to digest your speech, easy to understand. Please work on the objective, impact, and recommendation part. Thank you, and all the best for your future speeches.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamta. I think I made a small mistake. Your evaluation is also evaluated by Upasana, Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh. I hope she was there in the meeting.
Yes, I was there.
Thank you. Moving on. Evaluation for speaker 1, that is Tanushekha Agnihottri. Introduction of Eliza. She's a traveler, Toastmaster, visited 147 countries in 10 months via Zoom. Her dream now is to meet all her friends in physical form. Over to you, Eliza.
Thank you very much. A very good evening to everyone, and especially to my speaker, Tanushekha. Before I give you my evaluation, I just want to give you a big hand clap and congratulations for your first icebreaker. I know that for the first time when you deliver your icebreaker, maybe you feel so many things in your heart, nervous, that's a cold feet, cold hand, and many more. But when I look at your speech, you are not showing any of it. I know that little bit you are mumbling in some places, but it's just a normal. But I can see that you have a very high level of confidence, and congratulations for that. As your evaluator, I will tell you that the good things about you and something that I want to work on your speech. The things that I really like about you is you show a lot of you show us confidence when you are giving a speech. Then you are trying to stand up. Where I know that many of us now, when especially we are Zoom, we are preferred to sit. But when I look at you, you try to stand up and try to talk and respect your audience. I also can see that you are giving us the delivery of your speech is based on the timeline, which is very good. You told us about your young time until now. And the things that you keep on repeating is, even I'm still young, I'm still young. And when I look at you, and you are still young, and I don't know how old are you, actually what you mean by young. Because if you keep telling that you are still young, then how about me? Yeah, something like that. Then how about the DTM Sourav Dutta, right? Sorry. I just want to make sure that you, when you are telling that is a good things, because why you make somebody, you keep on repeating, so you make your audience remember about it. Then things that I liked about you is you are sharing about yourself, which is that the project, you really hit the target about telling people about yourself, how you love about your southern food, then how you love about the mountains. But if I want to say the things that really maybe you want to try to elaborate a bit about showing an emotion, how you love the food. Maybe yes, everyone is coming from the southern or something like that, but how about me? Maybe I want to know that how good is the food. Then when you say about mountains, maybe you want to have some little bit of engagement with your audience. Maybe you can say like, how many of you love mountains? What the good things about mountains and why you love mountains? Give a little bit of questioning to your audience so they also can feel you and also have the little bit of, you have the engagement with your audience. And things that I want to challenge you, maybe when you do the opening, no need to have too long for hello and thank you. Just say like, hello, I want to tell you about myself, Tanusha, I'm loving this and this and this. No need to have like very opening, no need to be too formal. And when you do your closing, maybe rather than to say thank you for listening, maybe you just can say like, do you have any good story that you want to share with me now? Just give a very strong closing. I already sent my evaluation to Sudharma. All the best. Looking forward for your next speech. Thank you very much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eliza. And thank you, Tanushekha, for delivering speech. Moving on, our next evaluator is Lakshmi Sujatha. She will be evaluating Bimpy Kumari. Lakshmi Sujatha is a she is a behavioral and leadership trainer. She found her ikigai through her job with the Akshay Patra Foundation. She facilitates training programs across India that upskills and motivates the frontline workers of her organization. And to upskill herself, her only go-to place is Toastmasters. Over to you, Lakshmi Sujatha. Do we have speaker? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yes. Am I audible?
You are Lakshmi. Continue.
Okay. Yeah. So, do I have my speaker? Yes, the speaker is also here. Toastmaster Bimpy, today you took us through a story that most of us might have gone through in our life, especially the ones who are working in the corporate environment, where we understand that, we wait for that appraisal. We think we have given our best, and ultimately things don't turn out the way we want it. Right. So today you told us a story that most of us would have connected to. And this story, because it is a personalized story, it kind of added to the essence of the entire speech that you gave. What really stood out for me was your conclusion. It really took me off guard. I really loved the example of the bulb that you gave at the end. And that kind of summarized the entire message that you wanted to give us today. So very well done on that part of it, where you were able to, drive that story, start off the story. You spoke about what your mentor had to tell you, and then finally the bulb. And it was like a lightning bulb for all of us. Very well done on that part. Now let's see some areas of improvement that you might want to work on. What is a story? A story is one which would connect at not just a physical level with the audience, but a story is one that should connect at the emotional level as well. So when I say emotional level, it is how do you connect the audience at an emotional level? It is either when you connect with the different senses of the person, like of your audience. It could be visual, it could be auditory, it could be kinesthetic. So probably if you had used a little descriptive language, and if you had painted a picture for us, right, about how that incident had happened. Like, for example, I was all excited and I walked into the room with a lot of pride to sit down and finally just to listen to this. If you had kind of described that a little more, I think the impact would have been a little more impactful. So use of descriptive language, not throughout the speech, at least in a couple of places would have been good, is what I feel. Another thing about a story is the title of the story. Okay, always hold that suspense in that title. What if you had probably named it as the irreplaceable bulb, or something connected to the bulb? We would have actually wondered what is it all about, right? But the title, it's probably the title also plays a very big role when it comes to a story. So overall, I would say that you had a story, you did use a story to come to a wonderful conclusion. However, if you could have that connect, an emotional connect, by use of descriptive language or imaginations, and also, the title of the story, I think it would have been really impactful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, Sujatha. Moving on, our next evaluator is Gauri Aggarwal. She is a chartered accountant by qualification. She is currently pursuing her passion as an image consultant and a soft skills trainer. Her knowledge of tarot gives her an edge in color psychology. She uses that psychology with her clients to help them to know their power colors. Gauri believes that soft skills contribute directly to the sales of an organization. People management is the skill to look out for. She is passionate about building her brand, rebrand, which takes care of self-transformation. Gauri Aggarwal will be evaluating speaker Yogita Upadhyay.
My target speaker, Toastmaster Yogita. First come first, you had me when you compared the office scenario with a circus. I wanted to hear that. Next, your story in school resonated completely with mine. Being a captain to save your own skin. Now, when your story resonates with the evaluator, it's like a match made in heaven. L5P1 of dynamic leadership with humor throughout the speech. It's a first one for me in Toastmasters. I've always heard inspiring stories, but not with humor. Now, you, in a very agreeably delightful manner, iterated the skills that you applied to be a successful leader. And with this, you achieved the purpose of your speech. You made leadership sound effortless, but we all know that leadership is like trying to tango with a cat. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you even get scratched. You spoke confidently like a CEO. You made me want to follow you and to see where you accidentally lead me. Now, Yogita, humor falls short of target if it's not backed with delivery. I noticed you looking up and you looking straight when your laptop was much below your eye level. mostly your humor was straight-faced humor. And with this kind of humor, if you don't have an eye contact, you miss bullseye by leaps and bounds. You could have also you had multiple opportunities to add body language and vocal variety because your speech allowed you to do that. When you were talking about dodging the paper planes, what about actually dodging it and showing it to us? It would have added a lot of visual appeal to your speech. Similarly, in terms of vocal variety, when you talk about taking the 360-degree feedback, and the topic or the feedback was choice of snacks, you could have actually modulated your voice out there. Now, I was also mildly opposing your style of closing. It was a very powerful message, but it did not sound powerful. So you said, you may not be the best, you need not be. So if you could have added power pauses and even come closer to the camera to say this, it would have been just an outstanding speech and an outstanding closing for me. I would like to challenge you to power pause when you try a humorous speech with a serious message from next time. But overall, Toastmaster Yogita, I was smiling cheek to cheek every now and then. You have a knack for wordplay, and I would love for you to continue with that. Congratulations on completing L5P1, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gauri Aggarwal. Before introduce next evaluator, let me confirm his presence. Anirban, can you confirm your presence?
Yes, I am there.
Okay. Anirban is a researcher by profession in TCS research. He has co-authored 10 plus scientific research papers and has 2 patents. In Toastmasters, he is the VP PR of TCS My3 Icon Toastmasters Club and also served as the president, VP Education and Sergeant at Arms and also secretary. Anirban Chaudhary will be evaluating speaker DTM Sourav Dutta.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudharkar. So good evening, everyone, and in particular to our speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Sourav. You are indeed a true leader, and it is evident from the way you delivered your speech. The confidence you revealed when you told that this is the last speech while I talk about 3 Gabbys, because next speech will be about 4 Gabbys. That reflects on your clear aim, your clear vision as a leader. Right from the beginning, you had a brilliant speech title to hook the audience, like it takes 3 to tango, and you also extended it by using audience interaction, asking them to guess what that 3 thing is. And the content of the speech was really good. You have shared your experiences, your challenges from starting with 1 club, then expanding it to 3 clubs. You mentioned the challenges faced in terms of membership renewals and how you approached others, how you took others' guidance to overcome those challenges. At the end, I also love the fact you also clearly mentioned your future goal of attaining 100 members and opening your 4th club. Now, there are some things which I felt you could have implemented in your speech to have a deeper impact. Now, as a leader managing 3 clubs, I'm sure you have faced more challenges rather than the renewal part. So I felt you have covered the depth of a single challenge, that is membership renewal. How alternatively you could have approached the topic was if you could have covered the breadth of multiple challenges which you have faced and a few solutions, how you faced and how you overcame them. That would have given a broader view to the aspiring leaders on what challenges to accept. And continuing from that recommendation, I felt at the conclusion, some strong message was missing. So what is your message for the future leaders who is willing to take up the leadership role in their club or in their area, division, district, etc. How would you want them to tackle the challenges? How you want them to face those challenges? How to reach to people for help? And some strong, positive, motivational message at the end would have taken your speech to next level. So to conclude, I would say the content was great. It clearly revealed your role as a leader. You highlighted the challenges, the solutions, your vision, etc. So if you could take care of the points like broadening the scope of this speech by adding further challenges and having a strong, positive, motivating conclusion at the end, that would have been a really great speech. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anirban Chaudhary. Moving on, our next evaluator, DTM Nancy Goel. She will be evaluating speaker Samita Kar. DTM Nancy Goel, working as a senior data analyst. She is a certified image consultant and personal branding coach. She is the president of Gabbys Toastmaster Club. Over to you, DTM Nancy Goel.
Toastmaster Samita, moderating a panel discussion. Whenever it's about this project, I always feel that the job of a panel moderator is not to take up the limelight, but rather put the panelist in a very good light and showcase what they have to offer to the entire audience. Having said that, I will not be evaluating you on your voice modulation, on your body language, but I would rather be focusing on how did you do as a panel moderator. So the statement I made that the job of a panel moderator is not to take up the limelight, but to show it on others, that's a job you have done wonderfully well. The way you have had the question rotations, starting with the panelists with their introductions and then followed by their opinion on the topic, followed by a specific question for each, and then the last comment from each of them. Yes, the rotations were done very, very well. That was a very smart move when you included the audience by telling them that they can mention the questions in the chat box so that you're not wasting time later on. Selection of panel, I must say that you had an absolutely beautiful selection of panelists. It was impeccable, relevant, and yet enough diversity in terms of age, experience, and background. You ensured that each panelist has something to offer to the audience. The topic was a bit specific. However, you ensured that the topic covers the generic aspect so that you can cater to the audience that you are dealing with in today's meeting. The questions that you had were very thought-provoking, and the questions were placed in a very controlled manner. So all in all, in terms of moderating the panel as a moderator, you had very good question rotations. You had a very absolute impeccable selection of panel. You handled the surprises very well. When there was a tech issue with Dr. Devanshu, you ensured that you quickly moved to the next panelist. Now, when we're talking about communication skills, I would rather like to mention a few areas of improvements in terms of handling the panel, the areas that could have done better. One is you should have kept some time for a proper time for question and answer round. You must have started it somewhere around green card so that you could cover the questions from the audience, since the audience was already posing questions in the chat box. And second thing is, it's a very minute one, but instead of asking panelists to summarize, you should rather say any final comments, because summarization is a part of the panel moderator's job, not the panelist's job. So 2 suggestions, 2 recommendations. One, don't ask them to summarize because it's your job, and handle the question and answer a little better. Otherwise, you are an impeccable panel moderator.
Thank you.
Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Nancy Goel. We have finished all the evaluation for the speakers. However, we have one more evaluation since uh, we have an evaluation for the evaluation of evaluator. So let me introduce evaluator of second evaluator. He is a chippy, happy-go-lucky bookworm who loves to eat, cook, travel, listen to music, and read about Indian mythology. She's been fortunate enough to visit 13 different countries and love exploring new cultures. Currently, she works as a senior technical writer for an MNC. Upasana Ghosh, over to you.
Thank you. Can I have the evaluator, the second evaluator, pinned?
I think she left the meeting, I guess.
No, she had a work meeting. She had to go, but you can continue.
Okay, no worries. Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Mamta. You have evaluated Toastmaster Arjun in a proper way as how we as a Toastmaster evaluate. First, good points, then point of improvement, and then the summary. So the structure of evaluation was very good. The points I love was the way you have explained the good points of the speaker, which also gave us a reflection that yes, these are the pointers which he has mentioned is a very good point, and you have explained it with examples, with the help of examples. So kudos on that. And even the point of improvement, you have kept it crisp so that the speaker understands it properly. From my end, the point of improvement would be that if you could, so the first point you said to the speaker is a voice modulation. If you could enact it, given one example, so the speaker could understand what type of voice modulation has the speaker has to do. Even the audience also. And point number 2, you said about impact. Again, if you could give us an example so that we as an audience as well as a speaker can understand what you are trying to say. Given this, the structure of your evaluation is always perfect, and you have followed the good points, point of improvement, and the summary part. I wish you all the very best in future evaluations. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh. Now, I request timer to share the report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sudharkar. Just allow me some time to share my screen, and please confirm once you are able to see the same.
Not yet.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the timer's report for everyone's reference. We had 6 speakers today with 7 evaluations, with only 2 disqualification in the evaluation part, which is Distinguished Toastmaster Lisa and our last evaluator Upasana. Other than that, all the evaluators are in place. With respect to speakers, we only had 1 speaker exceeding the time by 1 minute and 2 seconds. For evaluators, my only suggestion is to try to keep the evaluation as close to 3 minutes 15 seconds so that if we're contesting somewhere, it will not affect your timing part. I'll paste the report on chat for everyone's reference as well. Thank you so much. Back to you, Toastmaster Sudharkar.
Thank you,
Okay.
Toastmaster Smruti. Yeah.
Quick call out. Upasana is not disqualified. 1 minute 30 seconds is the minimum time.
My bad. I'm just changing the same.
Okay. We don't have polls for the speakers, but we do have polls for the evaluator. Yeah. Zoom Master is already launching the polls. Please vote. Meantime, since we have few guests and visiting Toastmaster, though we have exceeded little time, can we take couple of feedbacks? Sergeant Arms, Bimpy Kumari, is that okay?
Yes, we can take feedback from the guest.
Okay.
Or visiting Toastmasters.
I see few names. I think Subodh Gupta. I'm not sure guest or visiting Toastmaster.
He's a guest.
Okay. Subodh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Can you share your feedback, your experience today's meeting?
I enjoyed it. It was first time, and I just received the invitation. I did not attend the full program, but I attended, I think, almost 40% of it, and I very much liked it. And I understand that it would be extremely useful for developing public speaking skills for people. So that is all that I want to say.
Okay. Thank you, Subodh, for sharing your experience. We have Bhagyalakshmi. I'm not very sure guest or visiting Toastmaster. Bhagyalakshmi, are you there? Okay. Anybody else wanted to share experience or share the feedback?
I can share something. I myself moderated a lot of panel discussions and I've heard a lot of panel discussions. I think this is by far one of the best panel discussions that I've heard, both in terms of the selection or in terms of everything, the selection of the panel, the kind of questions, the way the questions were asked, the way they were answered. There were no textbook answers. When we are there in a panel discussion as a listener, we don't expect to listen to things that we already know or general knowledge kind of a thing. So we want to get some insider's perspective. That's the reason we invite experts on that particular topic, and that's exactly what we got. So I would like to thank Samita. I don't know, Samita, I mean, how did you manage to pull together such a elite panel? But great job. I really appreciate you doing that. So, and Dr. Anshu, you're still here. Thank you so much. I know you have got a busy day and a busy evening probably, but you're still there for listening to the meeting. So, which means that we're able to add some value. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's fun listening to the constructive feedback that you give.
Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Sourav Dutta. Okay. We have come to almost end of the meeting. Can we adjourn the meeting?
No, first you share the results.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've sent the results to you.
Yeah, I have shared already in chat. You can announce the result.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Sudharkar, if you're not seeing it, I can also announce it.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so the best evaluator for today, it's a tie. And I see both of them are still here. So the best evaluator for today is a tie between Toastmaster Gauri Aggarwal and distinguished Toastmaster Nancy Goel. Congratulations to both Nancy and Gauri. Fantastic evaluations. Thank you so much. Back to you, Sudharkar.
Yeah, thank you, Gauri and Toastmaster Gauri and DTM Nancy. With this, I think we can adjourn this meeting. Thank you, each of you, for attending the meeting.
Thank
Good
you.
night to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.